Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network. This episode is brought to you by Kalshi. Use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10. I'm Dave Gasper. Lots of stuff to get to here on the show today. We got some injury updates across the Brewers injured list, including some tough news on Brandon Lockridge. We'll get to that. Also, we're going to talk about a little bit of that left side of the infield. But first, we got to start with Brandon Sproat. Absolutely shoving and basically matching Brandon Woodruff pitch for pitch here against the Cincinnati Reds. So Brandon Woodruff, the first game of this series, goes 6 innings, 1 hit, strikes out 10. So Brandon Sproat sees that, and he goes out there against the Cincinnati Reds, and he goes 6 innings, allows 1 hit, and strikes out 10, and was just absolutely phenomenal against the Cincinnati Reds. Brandon Sproat turning in his best start as a Brewer. Just the second start for him this season where he has not allowed an earned run. And the previous one, when he took on the St. Louis Cardinals back on May 6th, he only went 4 innings in that game. So, for him to be able to, 1 hit there, 3 walks in that game as well in those 4 innings. But in this game, no walks. Brandon Sproat, as much as he has had some downs here to begin the season, he has had some struggles. He hasn't hit the ground running quite like Kyle Harrison has in terms of, the Brewers' offseason acquisitions here for this starting rotation. So Sproat has kind of taken the brunt of a lot of criticism. But the Brewers have stood by him. They have continued to put him out there every 5th day and believed in him in that rotation. And he is showing those signs, those glimpses of putting those things together. And you see the talent of what he can be. Again, development is not always linear when it comes to players, even though the Brewers have had a ton of success with pitchers and having them hit the ground running right away. There are also guys who do take a little bit more time. Sproat is one of those guys that takes a little bit more time. That ERA in the season is still pretty unsightly. It's still over 5. But, he dropped it down to 5.43 after his 6 shutout innings today after coming into the game with a 5.94 ERA. So he dropped it a full half run with his performance. So that is great to see. Brandon Sproat hopefully can continue this trajectory going forward. But he had his best start yet, 100%. So you love to see those kinds of steps forward here for him. Now again, the Reds are kind of at the bottom of the NL Central, but still they're just under 500. They still have some really, really good players on that team, and for the Brewers to set them down each of the last 2 nights with Brandon Woodruff and Brandon Sproat here, that's just a great sign to see, especially for Woodruff coming off the IL and Sproat coming off the struggles that he's had this season. So great to see that big step forward there for Brandon Sproat, and it leads the Brewers to getting a 2-0 victory again, just kind of getting a 2-0 victory over the Reds. They secured the series win, and now they will have a chance to go for the sweep here today with Shane Drowan on the bump. Maybe Shane Drowan will go 6 innings, allowing just 1 hit and striking out 10. Might as well just keep the theme for the entire series here, because that's just how the Brewers have been rolling. Okay, I want to get to some injury updates now because there were a bunch of them that did come out regarding the Brewers, and some are bigger than others. There are a couple of big ones to look at here. The first one is Brandon Lockridge, who many of us were anticipating to be coming back from that bone bruise in his knee and that laceration pretty soon. It happened, back in May there, sliding into the corner there in the wall at American Family Field. And he was ramping up, he was sprinting, everything seemed to be going good. It sounded like he was going to be heading out to a rehab assignment soon, but he noted, some kind of persistent issues. So they got things kind of checked up on for Lockridge. New imaging revealed what was called a chondral flap, whatever that is, that had developed along his patella. The Brewers team physician, Dr. Roche, is going to arthroscopically remove that on Thursday. And so Brandon Lockridge's return, which we thought was going to be kind of around mid-late June here, has now been pushed to late July. So it's going to be another 4 weeks or so here before Brandon Lockridge can get back to game action. So that does kind of make things interesting for that outfield mix and how long the Brewers want to stick with perhaps a Blake Perkins, who, to his credit, Blake Perkins has been better lately. He has been getting on base. He has been seeing some base hits. So that is good. But still, Brandon Lockridge, a big piece of what the Brewers were looking for there in that outfield, and he is going to be missing for another month as he's trying to come back from this knee injury with a chondral flap in his knee that developed from the bone bruise there. So that's the update on Brandon Lockridge. Logan Henderson, however, is a much more positive update here for the Brewers. He's been out for a while after dealing with a little back tightness. The Brewers shut him down for a little bit, but he has progressed to throwing live bullpens without issue, and Logan Henderson is tentatively scheduled to start a rehab assignment on Sunday. So I'm guessing that would be AAA Nashville where he would go on this rehab assignment, but projecting an early July return. So that's great to hear on Logan Henderson, who was pitching really, really well before that back tightness popped up. So Henderson has progressed. He's going to be going out on a rehab assignment fairly soon. DL Hall, returned to throw on Tuesday. So he did a little bit of testing on that. We'll see if he ends up, being able to move forward in that sense. But he's still projected for a late July return. That hasn't really changed for him. Coleman Crow threw a bullpen on Tuesday as well. His first bullpen since coming down with that flexor strain in his forearm that he had been dealing with. So that's certainly a very scary injury, but they felt it was minor. So he threw his bullpen 15 to 20 pitches. So he's looking at an early July return for Coleman Crow there. Jared Koenig, who it seems like has been on rehab assignment for forever, but he is going to throw again for AAA Nashville today. And it could be very, very soon, according to Pat Murphy, that Jared Koenig is back in that Brewers bullpen. That Brewers bullpen is down to just one left-hander at the moment with Aaron Ashby after Drew Rom got sent down the other day. So they would love to get themselves Jared Koenig back out in that bullpen. Quinn Priester did undergo successful thoracic outlet syndrome surgery on Monday with Dr. Gregory Pearl. So he is going to be out until next spring. So he's recovering well, and that is good to see on him. Also, Rob Zastryzny, who we haven't really seen yet this season, continues to deal with kind of some shoulder issues, but had that upper trap strain. He will have a second bullpen session today, about 25 pitches, and his return is estimated at mid to late July for Rob Zastryzny. So those are the updates there for the Brewers injury report. And yeah, tough news on Brandon Lockridge, but good news on Logan Henderson, good news on Coleman Crow. So those are what the main takeaways I think are going to be there. And hopefully soon we'll see Jared Koenig back in that Brewers bullpen. All right, so every single game you can trade on Kalshi, and the Brewers, I mean, obviously they play a lot of games, and they have won the first two here against Cincinnati. These have been low-scoring affairs, which is kind of surprising given the fact that this is this is Great American Small Park that we have going on. But yeah, it is. With this last game, we took just kind of the straight Brewers to win, and hey, Brewers ended up winning. So that's a great one to see. But looking ahead to this next game, I mean, there's so many different directions that we could go here. But with the Brewers taking on Cincinnati Reds for this upcoming game, let's see. What do we got here? I feel pretty good about the Brewers still being able to put up a couple more runs because they won by 2. You win 2-0. That covers over 1.5 runs, which the Brewers are currently trading at 45% chance to do for the finale here if they can, sweep the Reds and do it by 2 runs or more. That is currently trading at 45% chance, meaning a $100 trade pays out $214 with a win. That sounds very nice to me. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10, Kalshi, Kalshi, trade on anything. All right. So we got to talk about that left side of the infield. Cooper Pratt has come up. It's been a week now that he has been in the major leagues, and that demoted Joey Ortiz from shortstop, sort of the primary shortstop. He was splitting time quite a bit with David Hamilton, but still, it demoted Joey Ortiz to that third base type of role, where he was his first season with the Brewers. And Joey Ortiz is such a good defender that, he can handle, really kind of any spot over there. He has made some fantastic plays over there on that left side in these past couple of games since he's been, over there at third base. So making some great defensive plays. Offensively, he's still kind of the same Joey O. Not really getting a whole ton going, but he did have, obviously the big RBI the other day with the sacrifice fly coming through there. And again, making some elite plays over at third base defensively that have saved the Brewers really in this series against Cincinnati. So Joey Ortiz is doing well with that transition. Mentally it can certainly be tough. You lose that kind of job. Pat Murphy has talked to him. Throughout the past several weeks. Once Cooper Pratt signed that extension, Joey's not dumb, okay? He recognizes, hey, that's my position that I play, that guy plays that you just signed and gave $50 million to. So they've talked about it. They've got Joey in a good spot, and he is going to be kind of more in that utility role and playing a lot of third base because that's simply the opening that the Brewers have. Second base is not open. Bryce Trank's playing every single day. Cooper Pratt's taking over shortstop every single day. So third base is where the opportunity really lies for Joey and for David Hamilton, for that matter. But Ortiz has largely been doing really well with that transition. Again, offensively, the struggles are still kind of there. I think there just kind of is that limitation for him with the bat. But again, he came through big the other day with the sacrifice fly. He had a couple of strikeouts in the game on Tuesday, and so it's like, okay, that's tough. But then he makes a great big play defensively. And to be able to be mentally tough like that, as Pat Murphy kind of pointed out in the postgame, I think that speaks a lot to Joey Ortiz as a player and what he means to this team. So just wanted to give him a little bit of flowers there. And finally here, just to wrap up, we talked about this a little bit on yesterday's show, but now it is official. Luis Rengifo, who was placed on release waivers, has cleared release waivers, and he is now officially a free agent. He is out of the organization. The era is officially over in Milwaukee. So he's going to be looking for a new home. Rengifo never really got much traction. The Brewers tried to give him as much opportunity to get going at the plate as they could, but he just simply couldn't. David Hamilton took off, I guess you could say. He started playing the best out of that whole group, and then you got Cooper Pratt coming up behind him. So Rengifo was signed to be that veteran stopgap until the prospects were ready. That's really what he was here for. When they trade Caleb Durbin and Andrew Monasterio and Anthony Siegler and that entire third base depth chart in order to get Harrison and Drowan and Hamilton, well, when you traded all those guys, you knew you needed a stopgap because all the prospects that they had in AAA, they weren't quite yet ready. And it's like, okay, you need something in the meantime. That's what Luis Rengifo was. He was signed a few days later. And it wasn't a particularly great stopgap, but he was a body. He was there, and he was able to, man the fort until Cooper Pratt was ready, and then Pratt comes up, and Rengifo, being the lowest performing of the group, ends up getting the heave-ho, and, thank you for your service. Have fun searching for another gig. But still, that's what he was signed for. I think there was a pretty good idea coming into the season that Luis Rengifo probably was not going to be making it through the entire season in Milwaukee. He was signed to be the stopgap. That's what he was. Cooper Pratt is here. That next generation is here. Luis Rengifo has served his purpose, and now he can go to wherever other team that he would like to go, whoever would want to pick him up. So long, Luis Rengifo. Let me know in the comments, what was your favorite moment of the Luis Rengifo era? Because I'm sure there were so many favorite Luis Rengifo moments with this group. But the Brewers are just kind of continuing to win here as they've won the series against Cincinnati Reds. They'll have a chance to sweep here today before they return home to take on the Chicago Cubs. We'll be breaking it down as we always do here on Brewers Daily, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter as well at dgasper24. Appreciate all of you watching and listening, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.